Welcome back to Kamikaze Overdrive MMA Predictions. As always, I am your host, Scott Johnson. And on this episode of the show, as you'll notice, I'm actually behind the camera. Now, there's no fancy graphics or anything I'm going to be able to provide for this show because every time I do it, it seems to fuck up. This is the third attempt at me providing some type of podcast for the upcoming McGregor-Mayweather bout. I did a couple other ones. One of them crashed. It just didn't work out. The second one, Facebook took it down for some unknown reason because I had to do the Facebook Live. It didn't work out. So here I am doing it the traditional route. I'm just going to put a webcam on, hook the mic up, and we're going to talk. Now, the first thing I want to delve into, actually, and it's kind of nice that I guess I had to wait, whatever, is the fact that Jon Jones has just tested positive for a performance-enhancing drug and has been possibly, maybe not, stripped of his UFC light heavyweight title, and Daniel Cormier has reclaimed the belt. The conflicting reports at this point in time, so I don't know 100% if that's actually what's gone on. Either way, it sounds like we're going to wait for USADA to sort things out before we actually go ahead with all our assumptions. But if that is the case, that is devastating, because the Jon Jones victory was certainly good for him. It was good for the sport, coming back and providing a new and exciting, an old, new, exciting face for the light heavyweight division to get behind and for the entire UFC to get behind. And now this. I can't imagine what's going through Daniel Cormier's mind. Is he the new champion? Will he be the new champion? He is now 0-2 unofficially against Jones. So you have to wonder what that does to him. How devastating was that knockout loss? Where is he at, in his head? The UFC, what's going to go on with the division? It's there's a whole pile of shit that's going to unravel here in the next days, weeks, and months. I'm looking forward to. I'm hoping. I'm one of those people in the category who's hoping this is a mistake. You have to wonder, how dumb is Jon Jones if he comes back, his legacy's on the line, everything's on the line, and he fucking tests positive. He takes some kind of drug of some nature that is illegal, and this happens. What the fuck is he thinking? That's terrible by itself. Moving on from that, the other fight I want to talk about was George St-Pierre and Michael Bisping. That's very interesting. I'm not exactly sure. It's the UFC 217, former welterweight champion taking on the current middleweight champion. I don't know. It's one of those fights, considering Bisping fought Dan Henderson before this, you wonder the UFC may be protecting him a little bit, providing him with different challenges as opposed to sticking him in there with Robert Whittaker, which obviously he's injured, or Yoel Romero, or Jacare Souza, or any of these guys who have been waiting for their opportunity to fight him. Instead, he's getting George St-Pierre. And the question is for me is, if George St-Pierre wins the belt, what does he do next? Does he go down and fight at welterweight? Does he defend the title against Yoel Romero or one of these other monstrous guys that fights at the 185-pound division? I don't know. It's very interesting going forward how that plays out. I'm looking forward to the fight nonetheless. I'm a George St-Pierre fan. I'm looking forward to handicapping it. We have been off for quite a while. We have the Stefan Struve, Alexander Volkov, I believe it's UFC Fight Night 115? I can't remember. It's been that long. Right around the corner. I have to get back into the swing of things. It's been a little bit difficult. I've enjoyed my time off to the point where I almost contemplated saying, you know what, let's take another month and we'll come back in October. But I'm getting the itch. So I got to get back on track. I got to get things sorted out and go from there. Now, as far as before we get into the Mayweather-McGregor nonsense, as far as my jiu-jitsu pursuit has unraveled, I've been talking in recent shows in my intro about recent connections to BJJ and getting involved. I did actually go to a class, not to partake, even though I kind of wanted to, more just to watch, and it was incredibly interesting to watch. And again, what I've talked about all along is I have no actual experience on the mats. I sat on the mats. That's my experience. I sat on the mats and watched. But I do have a knowledge base, and I was watching stuff that I'm like, oh, he's about to pull off a helicopter sweep into an armbar. Boom, done it. There's a gift wrap he's setting up for a gift wrap right there. Boom, he pulls it off. Even at one point, I saw a fighter was competing. He said, "What's a body triangle?" I'm like, really? I guess. Okay. But, I was very impressed with the technique I saw. It was very cool to see that in person. It's much more physical in person than you would anticipate it to be. I saw the lead instructor who I talked to later on. He's a brown belt, very talented, very cool. Seems like a pretty good guy. Actually took a little shot to the nose and was bleeding a little bit early on, which is pretty neat. One thing I cannot get past is the grabbing of the gi. Coming from the mixed martial arts background that I come from as far as handicapping for the last 7+ years.
I just can't get over the grabbing the clothes. I know it's a part of the sport. It's what are you going to grab then, basically, if you don't grab the the gi and such. But still, it's one of those things. I'm like, never mind, that's legal, that's fine, okay. I'm impressed with the amount of time that goes into the sport. These guys have put into training and working your way up. It's not something I won some fights and now I'm good. You got to go a long way, and you got to get your ass handed to you a lot along the way, leading up to the time where you start handing other people's asses to them, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. And I don't know if I have the temperament for it. I get angry quick. And we'll have to see. I'm still interested. I'm still intrigued. My friend still wants me to come out, and I certainly want to give it a go. I laid down the challenge that, I'd love to grapple with you and see how things turn out. I'm going to get smoked. I've certainly bit off more than I can chew. But at the same time, hey, it's an experience we all should have at some point in our lives, right? So we'll see how that works out. All right, now let's get to the big fish here that needs to be fried. Mayweather, McGregor. I've been getting several emails from people asking me, what's my opinion on the fight? Where would you place your money? Well, we're going to talk about that. But we're going to start at the beginning. First and foremost, the press conferences. I like the press conferences. I watched all of them, some live, some shortly after they happened on Fight Pass. I thought the Toronto one was the best one. McGregor looked fantastic. It had the best flow to it. It just seemed very good. You could tell they were tired by the time we got to London. But it was a good pick me up for the event and get people fired up. It certainly, I think, it gained a lot of momentum for people wanting to buy the show. As far as McGregor, does he belong in this fight? I don't know. He's earned it, as far as I'm concerned. He's worked himself into this position. He's brought interest. It's not like people are saying, I don't want to see the fight. They want to see the fucking fight. That's for damn sure. And I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to be watching it. I certainly intend to be watching it. Looking forward to it. We saw the open workouts. McGregor, a lot of trolling going on as far as people getting over McGregor for how he looks in his training. On TSN, they had Russ Amber and Robin Black on. Russ Amber, of course, the boxing aficionado. And Russ was saying, what does this guy have to offer? I don't see it, unless he's putting on some elaborate ruse to mislead McGregor, or mislead Floyd Mayweather, and make him, lull him into a false sense of security based on Conor's lack of skill. He's not showing me anything that even remotely indicates he has the ability to be in the ring with Floyd versus actually beat him. Now, on the other side of things, Robin Black, a guy I've talked to before a couple times online and follows me on Twitter, which is cool, yeah, KO_predictions. He made some very interesting points. He said what Conor brings to here is uncertainty. He talks about the fact that boxers train to box all their lives, and because they train a certain way and they do things in a certain manner, when you fight those boxers, you expect things. You come to know this. He's going to move this way. He's going to throw this punch. He's going to act in this manner. Conor's not like that. Conor's going to throw a lot of different things at Floyd that he might not be ready for. Or maybe not ready for, but he's just not anticipating, and all it takes is one shot, and boom. It could change the complexion of the fight completely. Now, as far as what he's going to throw at him, we have heard talk of the MMA moves, and we've heard that everybody's talking about. And I said the same thing. If Conor fucking head kicks Floyd at some point, he'll go down as a legend. But we've also heard Floyd talk that it's built into the contract that Conor could lose upwards to 90% of his purse. That's a lot of money if he does something illegal. So will he do it? I don't think so. It's too big of a high profile of a spot for Conor to do it. So I don't think it's going to happen, but still it would be very interesting if it did. Now, I did watch an interview. Floyd was on Jimmy Kimmel, I believe, and I was impressed with what he had to say. For example, he was asked the question, I'm paraphrasing, but he was asked the question, is this the equivalent of a rugby player coming over and attempting to play in the Super Bowl in the NFL? And Floyd said no. Conor's undefeated as a stand-up striker. All his losses have come by submission. That's not really the case because obviously Nate Diaz dropped him or hurt him and did some damage on the feet prior to getting the submission. But still, it's admirable of Floyd to say that. Obviously, to some degree, he respects what Conor McGregor brings, and he should. He's the challenger who's going to attempt to stop him from being 50-0. So whether that happens or not, we'll have to wait and see. There was also some talk of could Floyd cross over into mixed martial arts and take on Conor there. He said we'll have to wait and see. Fuck no, he's not going to be doing that. There is absolutely no way Floyd Mayweather is crossing over, win, lose, or draw. He either wins this fight and retires, which apparently he said he's going to, or he loses this fight, demands a rematch, and that they have another boxing match. They're not going to mixed martial arts. I will eat this hat if they happen. I'm going to turn that off. I will eat this hat if they happen to... on camera, if they actually set up a mixed martial arts fight.
Now, let's get to the betting aspect of it. Again, these lines were taken a couple days ago. The current line has Floyd at minus 450, and it's going down significantly. So that means if you bet $100, you're getting about 122 back, so it's $22 profit. For Conor, he's sitting around plus 330 on some sites, where a $100 bet gets you $433 back. So a good return. But he was, and I've seen sites reporting that the bets coming in on Conor are massive and have really brought down his value. He should be much higher. So obviously that indicates that if you think Floyd can win, throw some cash on Floyd. And we thought that interesting thing back to the Jimmy Kimmel interview. Floyd said to Jimmy Kimmel, put a bet on me, put as much as you want. If I lose, I will cover what you lost. It's a no-loss situation. I wish I could get that opportunity to bet once in a while. That'd be quite fun. One of the things a lot of people are asking about, because they're recognizing betting on the line might not be the best venture, the prop bets. And the prop bets are certainly an option here. Conor currently sitting at plus 400 to finish the fight. If you're and you see, compared to the plus 300 for him just to win outright, you can see that most books are anticipating, and Vegas is anticipating, that if Conor wins this fight, it's not going to be on the scorecards. So most likely, if you're going to bet Conor McGregor to win this matchup, take the extra money and bet him plus 400 to finish the fight. It's plus 2,500 to win by decision, so if you want to throw a few bucks down on that, on the outside chance that he's able to somehow steal a decision, it's probably not going to happen, but hey, whatever. It's betting, it's fighting, we'll see how it plays out. On the flip side, Floyd Mayweather currently sitting at minus 150 by finish, which is actually not a terrible bet. And he said this is not going the distance. He said one way or another this is not going the distance, which I'm anticipating he's not going to say I'm going to get knocked out. So if you want to bet on Floyd at minus 150, it's not a terrible bet. It's probably one of the best turnarounds you can get on Floyd Mayweather as far as betting on him is concerned. Outright, will the fight go the distance? Plus 175, yes. Minus 250, no. So again, if you think Floyd's going to win this fight, take that option of Floyd by minus 150 to win inside the distance. Also, other options, will there be a knockdown scored? For Floyd, he's minus 175, yes. For Conor, plus 275, yes. Again, back it up. If you want to back up Floyd at minus 150, again, you can add to it. It's not really a backup, it's lumping on. If Floyd finishes the fight, there'll be a knockdown scored as well, so it's minus 175. On the other side of things, no, Floyd not scoring a knockdown, plus 125. Conor not scoring a knockdown, minus 400, basically saying maybe he's not going to touch him. So again, you see the books where the books are leaning. These lines should probably be even heavier against Conor McGregor. Now there's the talk of the 8-ounce gloves. Will that make a difference? They've dropped from 10-ounce gloves to 8-ounce gloves. Again, you would think it would favor Conor in the sense that it makes the impact of his strikes more significant. It gives Floyd less to block with when he shells up. But Floyd's a smart man. He is not going to do anything that's going to compromise his ability to win this fight. So I struggle to believe he didn't sit down with his father and everybody else around him and say, do we really think this is going to make that big of a difference? Let's make it seem like we're throwing him a bone. Let's add to the anticipation of the fight by saying, it's 8-ounce gloves. So again, I'm not thinking it's going to be too big of a difference, but we'll see. Now, as far as strategies and how these two guys are going to do what they're going to do, for Floyd Mayweather, I don't see why he would deviate. Even though he's talked in the media about attacking, engaging, and being aggressive, I don't see why he would deviate from what has brought him to the dance. He wants to bring Conor forward. And then when he brings Conor forward to engage, he wants to slip back out of range and throw counters once Conor is off balance and in a position of vulnerability. Use that aggression of the Irishman against him. Make him swing, make him miss, tire him out, land counters, hurt him. That's crucial. Use that jab. Jab, 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 disrupt everything Conor has to offer. Jab the body, target the body with hooks, even jab away at the body. It's going to take away Conor's gas tank. It's going to force him to start dropping his hands, and boom, those combinations to the chin and head are going to be right there to be had because Conor's going to be so concerned about going up and down with his defensive guard. Now, looking at McGregor, how does he win this fight? Well, again, like I said, knocking Floyd Mayweather out is probably how he wins this fight. He is a southpaw, but I expect he's going to switch stances. I would assume that, again, Conor's going to look to try and throw something at Floyd he's not expecting. So Floyd's probably training for a southpaw. We've heard about how Floyd in the past has had issues with southpaws. I'm anticipating that Conor's going to say, yeah, I'm going to switch stances. I'm going to do some stuff that he's not expecting, maybe not training for, and we'll see if that throws him off. Conor, what he needs to do is he needs to be aggressive. He needs to be the bigger man and take it to Floyd, which, again, plays right into what I just talked about. It plays right into that defensive strategy that Floyd needs to use, defend and counter. But again, Conor can't sit back. He has to be in his face, come over the top of Floyd's guard, be the taller man, be the longer man, be the heavier man, beat him up. He has to hit him hard, he has to hit him early, and he has to capitalize on anything he's able to pull off before that gas tank goes. I honestly give Conor 2 to 3 rounds, maybe 4 at the tops, where he can execute what he wants to do before exhaustion sets in, before the damage that Floyd's able to put on him sets in. So again, if you, I don't know what the numbers are, but if you can get a prop bet Conor inside the first 4 rounds or the over-under, whatever it's set at, probably not a bad idea. You know, Conor has to be careful again, like I said, with Floyd's strategy. Conor's going to do a lot of swinging and missing with Floyd's defensive game being so good. That's going to take a lot out of him. But if Conor can crack him once, oh boy, it could change things significantly. At the same time, everybody points at Floyd, so he hasn't knocked anybody out in 10 years. Well, if Conor's not on his level, I would think over 12 rounds, exhaustion, body shots, and just general damage will be enough for Floyd to score a stoppage of Conor McGregor at some point. I'm looking forward to the fight either way. Now, as far as the predictions concerned, because my show is called Kamikaze Overdrive MMA Predictions, what do I think is going to happen? I don't know. Isn't that good? I don't know what's going to happen. I'm going to enjoy the fight. That's fucking for damn sure. Whether it goes 1 round, 12 rounds, 6 rounds, 4.5 rounds, who cares? As far as where I would put my money, I think I'm definitely going to throw some cash on Conor McGregor by knockout at plus 400. I think that's a must bet. I'm also going to put some cash down probably on the minus. Where was it here? Probably on the Floyd by finish at minus 150 to back it up. I think that's not a bad option either. It's just kind of a secondary bet to just save a little bit of cash. I don't think this fight's going the distance, and I don't like will the fight to go the distance at minus 250. So I think those are my 2 options I think I'm going to bet. I know they basically fly in the face of each other, but I'll probably bet large on Conor at plus 400 to finish. I'll back it up with a small bet on Floyd to maybe recoup some of my losses if Conor doesn't go that way. Either way, I'm looking very much forward to the fight. It's going to be fantastic. And then we will be right back into MMA, where I will be giving predictions and researching fights and not just flapping my gums for the sake of it. But either way, we're going to head back and, again, enjoy the fights this weekend. We're going to shut things down for now. And thanks for tuning in, guys. And I'll see you here soon. Take care.